And Iran's senior military commander is calling on Israelis to leave the cities of Haifa and Tel Aviv immediately.
با تمرکز بر اهداف حساس
The Iranian armed forces have inflicted heavy blows on the enemy by targeting sensitive and vital objectives. However, the operations carried out so far have merely been warnings aimed at deterrence. A punitive operation will be launched soon. Therefore, residents of the occupied territories, especially Tel Aviv and Haifa, are strongly warned to leave these areas to preserve their lives and not allow themselves to become victims of Netanyahu's animalistic ambitions.
Let's bring in our correspondent Bernard Smith. He's joining us from Jordan's capital, Amman. He's there because the Israeli government has banned Al Jazeera from reporting inside Israel and the occupied West Bank. And so we've got the Iranian military telling people in Haifa and Tel Aviv to evacuate, Bernard, and that follows the Iranian missile attacks that have taken place today. What do we know about the impact of those attacks, keeping in mind that there is a ban on local media reporting on attacks on what Israel considers sensitive areas?
Yeah, there were 8 missiles, according to the Israeli military, fired from Iran this afternoon. The most consequential, though, was early this morning, where about 30 missiles, according to the Israelis, were headed towards Israel, most of them intercepted before they made landfall, before they hit their targets. But there were pictures of an area called Herzliya, where it appears parked buses were hit and are on fire. We don't know exactly what that area is, but the Iranian media is suggesting that this is some sort of a secure installation or some sort of location related to the military. But because of wartime censorship in Israel, if it is an area like that, then it won't be reported, or we won't know exactly what it is. But the Israeli military, they say that they have now hit 200 missile launch sites in Iran, and they say they believe that Iran can't fire as many missiles as it wants to fire. And certainly, if you look at the numbers that have been fired over the last few days, they are reducing. On Saturday night into Sunday, there was over 200 missiles. Sunday night into Monday, it was 65. And Monday night into Tuesday morning, it was about 30. So the numbers are coming down, and the Israelis say that that is because they have degraded Iran's ability to fire ballistic missiles.
And Bernard, are they saying anything about the attacks? We've spoken about how there is that local media ban on attacks on sensitive sites, but are they talking about the damage that's caused, that's led, for example, to Israeli civilians having to leave their homes?
Well, yeah, at least 24 Israelis have been killed, according to the numbers from the Israeli medical services, and numbers of buildings will have to be destroyed, and 18,000 Israelis have filed for compensations, because of damage to their property. So it gives you an indication that when, as we've seen, at least one of these missiles gets through, it causes considerable damage. I also need to mention that there's new lines coming from the Israeli Broadcasting Authority this evening about the suggestion that Iran wants to go back to the negotiating table. So the Israelis are saying the US has told the Israelis that Iran wants to stop now the fighting in preparation for a return to negotiations. But the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the Ministry Chief of Staff, the Defence Minister, are of the consensus that it is not permissible to stop the attacks at this stage. They say Iran would exploit this to consolidate or continue its nuclear program, rather. And the Israelis estimate that there are disagreements with the US administration, within the US administration, over whether or not to accept Iran's offer. And the Israelis believe that Donald Trump is satisfied with the Israel's army's successes, and it does not want it to stop now. Also worth adding to that, the Israeli military says they need about a week to complete all the attacks they want to on the targets in Iran.
All right, that is Bernard Smith with all the latest lines from Israel. He's joining us live from Amman. Thank you very much, Bernard.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.